Welcome to the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Micheal Wooding with the Auto Appraisal Network joins us to talk about car auction prices going through the roof for most. Jeff will bring us his report on the famous James Dean Porsche. We'll also have the stories making automotive news headlines. That and more just ahead on this edition of the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. King Conrad DeLong and Mike Moore is out today. Sitting in, the fabulous David Ainsley. We have his son, Ryan Ainsley, here. What a great conversation that we had about your new car and your new job and car clubs, and we like it.
Yes, sir.
You got a girlfriend?
No, I do not.
He's eligible.
Well, this show, you're going to end it after that because this show
Exactly right.
There'll be no girls after this.
So joining us right now from the Auto Appraisal Network, a good friend, Micheal Wooding. Woody, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good this morning, Don. Thank you for asking.
Well, that's good. It's good to see you, as always. And the classic car market. You know, first of all, I guess before we get started, tell us about the Auto Appraisal Network. I know that you own the franchise here in the Houston area, and I see all your postings on Facebook all the time about these cars that you appraise. And tell us how that works and why it's important to have a true professional appraisal.
Well, Auto Appraisal Network is a franchise business. I actually control virtually all of South Texas, not just Houston. So I have done appraisals as far down as Brownsville. So we do get around.
I hope you get a mileage fee for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's increasing with these gas prices, trust me.
I'll bet.
But, you know, there's various reasons for appraisals. The ones we kind of focus on are the classic, custom, collector, and hot rod cars.
Okay.
So that kind of sets us apart because there's other appraisal businesses in town. We do also do some diminished value appraisals, just to, you know, kind of keep a little bread and butter on the table.
Tell everybody what a diminished value appraisal is.
Well, say you've got a 2018 Toyota 4Runner.
Okay.
And somebody slams into the back of you and does, you know, $12,000-$15,000 worth of damage. They're not going to total that car for that amount of repair dollar. So it's going to take, it's going to be repaired and returned to you. So once you get that vehicle back, is it worth the same amount it was worth before it got hit? No. And the reason for that is things like Carfax. There's a way now that if it's repaired under insurance, the damage can be tracked. Okay. So when you go to trade that car into a dealer or sell it to a potential buyer and they run a Carfax on it, they're going to see that it's had that much damage. Okay. They're going to offer you quite a bit less than an identical car sitting right next to it. Same mileage, same options, same everything because of that prior damage. So I say it's one of the better things we ever got from California, where the law was initially enacted, that says that whoever hit you owes you a portion of that diminished value. Okay? So the way it works is once you get the car repaired, you get the final repair bill. You can send me that repair bill. I come and take photographs of the repaired car to show that it has been repaired. And then we submit that to you, submit that to the insurance company. On a 2018 Toyota 4Runner, $15,000 worth of damage, you're probably talking in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $8,000 in diminished value. So after you get your truck back, you file the claim and you get that additional $8,000 on top of that.
And so the insurance company pays you the additional $8,000.
You actually go after the person that hit you, but the insurance company picks that up.
Yeah, they're the ones that go after them.
Got you.
Yeah.
You
So-
file the claim against the person that hit you.
Right.
Right. But it's their insurance that pays that.
Right.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I got you. So if David is the one that runs into the car, then I file a claim based on what your diminished value appraisal is through him, and he turns it into his insurance company, and his insurance company writes me a check. Is it that simple, though?
That is correct.
Is it that simple? Does that actually happen?
Well, it depends kind of on the insurance company that you're dealing with. Some of them are more applicable to that situation. Others tend to fight it. And they've even gotten a little bit wiser now to where they come and offer you. Now, understand, when the law was passed here in Texas, they have some pretty good lobbyists with the insurance company. So the two rules that they got enacted during the procedure of passing this bill was the first, that you cannot claim diminished value against your own insurance company. So if you go out and run into a tree, you're not going to get diminished value for your vehicle.
Sure.
Okay. Has to be a third party involved. The second thing they had passed was they don't have to advertise, they don't have to make you aware, and they don't have to offer you diminished value unless you pursue it.
Yeah. Are there insurance companies that do a better job at that than others? You don't have to name them or anything. But
absolutely. What I find is your more old school insurance companies. And, you know, when I say old school, I think about Allstate and State Farm and those kinds of guys, you know, that have been around out there for years that we've all used. They're pretty good. They don't give us too much trouble. When you get into the ones that advertise every 15 minutes on TV,
yep,
and you know the couple that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
they tend to argue and fight a little bit more, especially against the number that we put out there.
Right.
They've come to the realization that they're going to have to pay it, and it's more costly for them to go to court on the issue than it is just to settle. So the way they've tried to circumvent that is come to you and assume that you're ignorant, and instead of giving you that $8,000 on that Forerunner, they offer you $1,000 in diminished value.
Oh my God, that's a lot. So what do you do if you're faced with something like that, and you know darn good and well that you need that $8,000 because you're going to have to take it when you go and sell the car?
You're going to take that hit, yes. So if they offer you that money, first thing, do not cash the check. Don't deposit the money. Just hold the check and call me, and we'll get a diminished value claim. You let them know that you're going to pursue a diminished value claim and that the $1,000 is unacceptable.
Perfect.
But for people that aren't aware, they get that $1,000 and they think they're in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame, getting ripped off even more by auto insurance companies. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's talk now about the classic car market. And I know from us being Facebook friends that I have seen some truly incredible cars. And you have actually said in some of your postings that you wouldn't buy. It had 10-foot pole marks all over it because it was absolutely a piece of junk. And on the other hand, you've gotten these absolutely gorgeous, beautiful resto mods, cars that are all original, but they've got some age on them. They might have some mileage on them, but whatever the case may be, some really fine rides.
Well, the market's it's the 3Ds for me right now. It's damage from diminished value, divorce, and death.
Yep.
Those are the things that are bringing me the most business that I get.
Right.
You would be surprised how many collectors of exotic, custom classic cars that we have in the South Texas area. There's a bunch. And when these people pass away, usually the wife is, virtually oblivious to the value of the cars that the man's left. And so that's where we come into play, is come put a value to those so that she can recoup the correct amount of money for those cars.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have a network of people that a widow, let's say, inherits a 57, pristine 57, all original classic Bel Air, and it's worth a lot of money. She has no idea who to send it to, who's going to buy it. She's going to put an ad in the want ads for it. Do you have a network of people that you can lead her to?
Yes, because what happens there, especially elderly people, they don't want a bunch of strangers showing up there, wanting to test drive the car, kicking the tires, criticizing it, taking up their time. It's just more trouble and hassle than most of them want to deal with.
Right.
As far as there are two different people here in town that I recommend, and it depends on the type of car. If it's a custom collector type car, I usually refer them over to an outfit called Cayman's Fine Motor Cars. He is a collector himself, a buyer and seller, and a consigner of collector cars. When we get into the exotics like the Lamborghinis and Ferraris and those kinds of things, I usually send them over to a place on Memorial called Driver Stores. And they usually tend to deal more in the high-end exotic cars than they do classic and rest of them on. So I've got two different places there. And there's other places in town. I've just found these two to be the best and the most honest to deal with.
Yeah.
So, do you ever are you ever asked to go to some of these auctions, like we just had Meekum not very long ago, to go out and do a value of a vehicle? Hey, I'm looking at this specific vehicle. Can you come out and make sure I'm going to buy it at the right price? Have you ever done that?
I do pre-purchase appraisals, yes. Now, you might find this a little bit strange, but I do pre-purchase appraisals for 90% of the country. New York and New Jersey are off my radar. I don't mean travel there or do an appraisal there. If they're looking at a car here in Texas, I won't do it. The people there just seem, the car collectors there seem to be a little on the tough side to deal with, let me say.
Yeah.
So I've just got to where I won't do it. But I do a lot of pre-purchase, and I'll let everybody know that I'm not an ASC certified mechanic. But I am 64 years old. I've drag raced, I've circle track raced. I've had show cars for over 35 years. I know automobiles pretty much inside and out, especially the classic customs and hot rods. So I can give them a pretty good assessment of, is that car what they said it was? And I'll let you know, the worst one I ever done was here recently on a 65 Mustang GT Hertz car.
Yes, and I think that you mentioned the fact that you wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
The pictures that they received from the dealer they bought the car from showed an absolutely gorgeous car. Black, gold stripe, just the way it was supposed to be, hood scoop.
Right.
Everything looked right, 289 car. The car that they received when it showed up had no hood scoop on it. There were holes where the hood scoop was supposed to be. The roll down window on the passenger side in the rear was not even in the car.
No, they parted it out.
Wasn't rolled down or not roll up. It wasn't even there.
Parted it out. There you go. I need that window. Let's buy it.
When I looked at the pictures that they bought the car from, the first thing I noticed was the power steering pump neck on the car in the picture pointed straight up and down. The one in the car leaned to the left. So I don't even believe it was the same car or same engine as was used in the pictures. But the creme de la creme came when I opened the trunk to inspect it. When I opened the trunk, it was still taped off with paper.
Oh, painted it.
Oh, somebody had painted it.
Mm-hmm.
They had sprayed the car the day before it shipped.
But that's the history of that car, though, because people used to rent them to go race. So that was probably one of those units. That was probably one of those cars.
But it's not what they represent.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So they sold them. I don't believe it was a Hertz car, a Shelby car at all.
Oh, to begin with.
I believe it was just a Mustang dressed up in paint.
Oh.
And not done very well.
Oh, my gosh. Well, did the person buy the car? They pass.
Oh, no. They had paid for it in advance.
Oh, no. They did.
$80,000.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Take
And
them
they
to
got
dinner
a car
after that.
that's worth about $15,000.
If that.
Wow.
if that.
Oh my gosh. And were you the bearer of bad news?
Well, they knew it when they called me out. They just needed me to give them some verification and documentation to back it up so they could proceed with their court case.
Oh my God, that hurts just to even hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. I've seen a lot of people taken advantage of, but this was one of the worst.
Now, is this one of those that you're talking about from the East Coast, or is this something different?
The car came out of North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Unbelievable. Well, I mean,
Hey, forget about
just
it.
like everything else. I mean, there are unscrupulous people everywhere. So
But that's why you hire somebody like me to go put hands on and touch and drive that car
absolutely.
and make sure it's everything it was, because digital photography today makes everything look good.
Yeah. So what are some of give me a couple of the ones that you thought were really awesome cars that were for a fair value?
Well, I don't know if you saw the collection I did. It was up on Lake Livingston.
Oh my God,
yeah,
I did
yeah.
see that. That was awesome.
These people had some automobiles. They had, a Mercedes SLS, a Mercedes SLR, Bentley Continental Super Sport, Ferrari F430, Ferrari 458 Italiana, a Ferrari FF. You could just go on and on and on. Lamborghini Huracan, Lamborghini Murcielago. There were 15 cars total in the collection, and none of them had over 2,000 miles.
What do you think? What do you think that whole collection was worth?
Just the cars that I praised. Now, mind you, there were others.
Right.
Just the cars that I praised were close to $4 million.
Wow. Unbelievable. And it's funny because from my experience, there are collections around town, you just here in the Houston area, that are probably worth that much, if not more, that are hidden that nobody really knows about. And these guys know their cars and have bought the cars at a right price and have kept them because they want to keep them. That's what they do. They're just really car guys.
Well, the absolute best Porsche collection outside of Stuttgart is here in Houston.
Really? And see, who would have guessed that?
Yeah. And the information, I've done several appraisals over there. The gentleman that owns it, he tends to buy buildings inside the loop, renovate them, turn them into lofts and stuff, and sell them. So when he needs capital, he'll put up a couple of his Porsches for capital, get a low interest loan to do the construction work that he needs to do. Once he sells off the building and the apartments, he turns around and pays off the loan, keeps his Porsche. He has every year Porsche manufactured, period. Okay.
Wow.
He prefers them to be in white, and so it's known as the white collection. If you go online and just put in the white collection, and I can say this now, at the time I was doing appraisals there, it wasn't a known fact. But the building that the cars are in is so pristine that when I go in there, I have to put the little booties on my feet.
Yes.
Like you're going into a doctor's office.
Nice. Okay? Yeah.
But it's all done in white marble with LED and white leather couches. Every car has a placard. Every car has a battery tender on it, and every car will start and run. Every car there is the top of the line model for that year produced.
Wow.
Okay. So now, to keep the cars in running condition, he built a treadmill inside the building for the cars.
For the cars, kind of like a dyno, but a treadmill.
So once a month, each car goes over and runs 2 miles on the treadmill.
Oh my God!
With that, he should have his own indoor track or something. You'd take him driving around, experience that rather than a treadmill.
Well,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I can only imagine what his house and his wife and kids and cats and are they all? Everything is pristine and in its place.
I've never seen his home. The building is a 2-story building that covers an entire city block.
Sure. Why not?
Now, it's not just the cars. He has Porsche bicycles. He has Porsche tractors.
So he's got all the memorabilia. Yeah.
He has a whole top floor of drawers of acid-free storage ability for Porsche documentation.
Unbelievable. I love that. It's a shame that that's one of those things that I'm not a Porsche guy, but I would go and appreciate all of that and love to see all of that. I mean, that would be like going to a museum.
Oh, yeah. It's some of the cars you see there. You know, he's got the 50. And there were certain years that Porsche really didn't make a white car, like 1959. The closest they had was kind of a cream yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got that car. And then they called it the Continental. And Ford actually sued Porsche for using that name. So they had to change it the next year. But he's got a 2005 Carrera GT, like Paul Walker got killed in. He's got GT3R. Like I say, whatever the top of the line car was for that year, if it was a convertible, he's got it in convertible. If it was the top of the line was a coupe, it's a coupe. But everyone's white.
How fascinating.
A Mecum Indy just ran last week, and there was a collection of Corvettes. I think there was like 18 Indianapolis pace car Corvettes.
That sold as a group.
Yes, they sold as a group. I think it was over $2 million, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I think he stole that deal.
Yeah, whoever bought it did steal it. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Micheal Wooding, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it and loved the conversation today. Let's pick it up next time.
Look forward to seeing you guys at my show this year.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. All right, man. That's Micheal Wooding, Auto Appraisal Network. Look him up online and bend his ear sometime. I know that he'd appreciate it. Time now for Jeff's feature of the week. This week it's the James Dean Porsche 550.
Yeah, I'm going to pass this on again. I'm not unplugging.
Don't unplug it.
Don't unplug it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pass the racing calendar to Mr. Ainsley when that time comes here shortly.
But let's do Jeff's feature on the Porsche since we're talking about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is James Dean's haunted little bastard Porsche 550.
Okay.
And the way this came about, the story begins in 1955, September 23rd, before his crash. He bought the car. He bought a Porsche 550 Spyder and took it to George Barris, famous customizer, and they call him the Flim Flammer back then, to personalize it. He chose tartan seats, the number 130 emblazoned on the hood, and the name Little Bastard painted underneath the Porsche emblem. Back in 55, he was driving around Los Angeles, and he met up with Alec Guinness, who is a famous actor, an English actor. And outside of the restaurant, Guinness was heard saying, "Please never get in it. If you get in that car, you'll be found dead in it in a week." The guy had a premonition. He'd raise up the hair on your back of your neck type thing. So he said it looked sinister. Dean laughed at him all the way, to the end of the conversation. A week later, September 30th, Dean and Rolf Woolrich, who was a former Luftwaffe pilot and a factory-trained Porsche mechanic back in the day, were at a Competition Motors in Hollywood preparing the little bastard for a weekend at Salinas. Salinas is a racetrack. The intent was for Dean to trailer the car to Salinas behind a 55 Ford Country Squire, along with photographer and stuntman Bill Hickman. Hickman was the stunt coordinator for the movie Bullet. That's all to be coming, after that. They needed some break-in mileage, and they talked Dean into taking the car off the trailer, jumping in it, and doing some runs. Okay, you're going to get in it. You're going to find out how the car drives, the performance of it, steering, all that good stuff. Put some break-in miles on it. So Dean did that to familiarize himself with it. They left the coffee shop from the Competition Motors about 1:15. About 3:30, California Highway Patrolman O.V. Hunter stopped Dean and wrote him a ticket just south of Bakersfield for doing 65 and a 55. Hickman, who was driving the chase vehicle with the empty trailer, got a ticket for doing 20 over because pulling a trailer back then, you had to go 45, so he got it for 20. So they both got tickets. At Blackwell's Corner on Route 466, the caravan stopped for drinks, met up with Lance Rentlow and Bruce Kessler, also competing in the Salinas Road Racing, and they had a Mercedes SL 300 coupe. Approximately 5:15 that afternoon, Dean and Hickman driving west towards Paso Robles, which is a town out there. Half hour later, a black and white 1954 Tudor coupe headed east on 466, driven by 23-year-old Cal Poly student, unlikely name of Donald Turnipspeed. He's the one that hit him head on. So Dean died. The passenger was injured. Nothing happened to the gentleman that hit him, the student that hit him. This is where it gets weird. This is the haunted part of this. Barris purchased the wreck for $2,500 with the intent selling tickets to look at this damaged car, don't do this type thing. Transported the car back to his shop. The car slipped off the trailer and broke the legs of the mechanic. Barris sold the engine and drivetrain to Tony McHenry and William Estrich. The two used the parts for their own race cars, and they raced against each other after they put the parts on there. Henry lost control, slammed into a tree, and died. Estrich had the steering lock up, the wheels locked up. He rolled it and was seriously injured. 2 tires from the little bastard were in George Barris's garage. He sold them later on. The 2 tires blew out and wrecked that person's car. There are reports that if you were at a display of it and you like getting a picture of it and you touched it, something bad would happen to you then. Due to all the incidents of the little bastard, Barris decided to hide the car, convinced that the California Highway Patrol was going to use it as it didn't want to be cursed and have a heap of this mess in all these displays. So later, Barris had the car hidden, and he said, I'm gonna take it to my museum. He loaded it up on a trailer, and the trailer and the car disappeared. He had it destroyed somewhere, and that's the story of how this thing never became visible again. And there you see, that's goofing around in the picture of that. So
Christine.
It's sort of like a Christine.
That is frightening.
Yeah, there was a lot of thought of
a lot of bad juju going on with that car.
Yeah, so there was more incidents of that. I kind of shortened it up, but there was people
That's
getting
a fascinating story.
People getting hurt by the vehicle, and George Barris
and the parts that went with it.
The parts that went with it. So yeah, that's the typical Christiner there. Typical Christiner.
Scary.
Yep.
In Wheel Time Car Show streams on iHeartRadio, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install Exo Shield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeartRadio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.com.